Last year I played in Class 5 and with 41 participants I came in second place. This year I'm playing in Class 4 with 49 participants, and without much practice since last year's championship I'm hoping to survive and if I'm lucky come out on the upper half of the list after my 9 games. Now with only 9 games played last year I still have no rating, but my opponent Arne Hallsjø from the chess club Sevland has a Norwegian rating of 1132, and Class 4 has a rating between 1000 and 1249. This is the first game I'm playing against a human for over a year, so I'm pretty nervous. But I open with my pawn to e4 and just try to develop here. And I think this is called the inverted Philidor. It's as defensive as you can get, and I know right now that my bishop here on f1 is blocked in by the pawn on d3. So I'm quite aware of it, but it's an opening that I played a lot of times. And this move here that he makes with his pawn to f5 surprises me a little bit because I'm so used to this move coming after either my opponent or I have castled. And in this situation, if I just now continue with my castling, he can come down on f4 and block in my dark squared bishop here. So right now I decide to exchange it and continue with my development. And this is just to get my dark squared bishop out into the game, and at the same time I can pin his knight towards his queen here. But he moves his queen, so what he's planning now is for me to take his knight, and here I suddenly have a rook pointing down at my castle position here. I have a bishop and a queen here looking at my h3 square. So right now it just doesn't look like a good idea to actually do that exchange. So what I do instead here is I move to a3, and there's a psychological reason behind this. I like to castle short or on the king side. I like my opponent to castle on the king side. I don't like to castle on the queen side, and I do not want my opponent to castle on the queen side. So this pawn move here is just to indicate that if he wants to castle queen side, my pawns are coming. But before I get that far, I have other worries here. And right now I have to decide if I want to take his knight, and I do not. But what I do need is I do need to make a little loophole for him to come down to h2 here. Now I have a very cramped position. He has a very offensive position. Most of his officers are in play. Mine are barely in play and has really no place to move. But if I take his knight here and he takes back with his pawn, I really don't have a good square for my c3 knight here. The only move I have is actually to go down to b1 again, and I don't want to do that. So I decide just to move my queen here and let him decide if he wants to exchange anything, and he does. And this move I like, and I need time to analyze this. My first analyzing came out with me taking his pawn here, threatening his queen, and then of course putting him in check, gaining a pawn and having his king have to move somewhere. But my second analysis came out with this, that if I do take it, he takes my bishop. We're both threatening queens here, and he ends up an officer for a pawn. So in the end here I decide not to do anything. And before I can, I'm sorry, um, I move my bishop here to h2, and before I'm able to decide anything, he comes with his knight here, kind of like forcing his g pawn to take, and now he has half of the g file, which is his, and I end up castling here on the queen side. And I guess he has anticipated my other plan here, so he moves his pawn to c6 to prevent my knight from coming here on d5. And this move here by me is complete paranoia. It's a wasted move. I do not really have to move it there. He castles kingside, and this move coming up now, I used 20 minutes to decide if this was a good move or not. To me, it creates unbalance. Other people just do it. But if it doesn't take, I end up with a pawn here. But he does take in this situation. And there's a lot of moving back and forth with the pieces. For some reason he's exchanging all the pieces here. And right now he's asking me for a draw. I decline, and the reason for it is he has these two isolated pawns, which I believe sooner or later could be mine with good play. But at the moment he actually has a better position than I do, and right now I'm seeing doubled rooks here on the e-file. But what he does now, he moves his rook to a4, completely out of play as far as I can see, and also what I consider the losing move. And now I'll exchange queens with him. And I'm hoping to get my my rook down here now to e6. I have this pawn, and I have this pawn if everything goes well. But he anticipates this, and I move my pawn here to safeguard my g4 pawn. And now I have a pawn, and he can't prevent it. And I don't understand why he did come with this this move here, because if he takes here, I only take his other rook here. But he takes my my rook on f4. I take, and here comes his king, and this move here is just to prevent his king from coming towards my 3 pawns here on the f and g file. And I could go for this pawn right now, but if I did that, what would happen is he might actually come down into my pawn structure, and I don't want him to do that. So I move my pawn to g3 first, just to prevent that. Now I can take his pawn here. And he can't really take my rook here. If you try to do that, then I can queen my pawn here. So he goes back to a4. His rook is completely blocked in by his pawns. And my rook move here now on the e-file is so he can't use his king to get to these pawns, or the one that's going to queen. I check him. It's not really that much a check. It's more for protection of this square here. And he keeps pushing on. And right now I can exchange rooks, and he cannot take my pawn on g7, which is going to promote, and he gives up.